Today I'm bringing you an important scoop yet to break on Australian mainstream media. Man takes woman-only social media app to the Australian Federal Court for excluding him on the basis of his sex. That's right. A man who claims to have the gender identity of a woman is taking a woman to court for excluding him from her female-only social media app on the grounds that he is male, because he claims that is discrimination against him just because he doesn't look how society expects a woman to look. The social media app in question is a fair and proper application of the Convention of Elimination of all forms of discrimination against women that has been adopted by the UN. That's not the issue. The applicant is not claiming discrimination on the basis that men should not be excluded. His claim is that he should not be excluded because he is a female. Now, if that sounds incredible, this next bit is really going to fire you up. The Australian Human Rights Commission has joined the case as court amicus curiae on the side of the applicant. That is, on the side of the man who claims his sex is now female. In their submission, the Australian Human Rights Commission contends that sex is not a biological concept and that it does not refer to the male or female traits a person was born with. In old-fashioned speak, they are effectively arguing that sex does not mean sex anymore. It gets better. Sex is not a binary concept according to the Australian Human Rights Commission. Here's a direct quote from their submission to the Federal Court. Sex can refer to a person being male, female, or any other non-binary status. It is also broad enough to encompass the idea that a person's sex can be changed. Baby, baby, we're all non-binary now. Yeah. According to the Human Rights Commission, for a person to be female, all that is needed is for that person to have their sex recorded as female on their birth certificate or to have undergone gender, not sex, affirming surgery to affirm their status as female. It's pretty groundbreaking stuff, isn't it? We have a federal court case coming up in Australia to determine if a castrated man with a falsified birth certificate is a female. The implications of this are huge for every man, woman and child in Australia today and forevermore. The consequences will be international. If a man can be legally female in Australia, it won't take long for activist organisations in other countries to push that agenda, holding up Australia as the legal precedent. How embarrassing! They are making a legal bid to destroy the knowledge that everybody innately possesses about sex and the ways in which we navigate the differences and inequalities between the sexes, both on a personal level and in every public domain. This isn't trans panic. The activists are coming for your sex. They don't just want to force us to recognise self-declared gender. They want to completely destroy the biological understanding and importance of sex. This legal assault on sex in Australia began in earnest in 2013 when the Giggle amendments were made to our Sex Discrimination Act to include the nebulous concept of gender. That's Julia's definition of woman behind me, by the way. Love your work, Biddy. But the Australian public remain largely uninformed to this day on the war being waged on sex by our activist governments, organisations, corporations and community interest groups. Most of our media have ignored the whole issue of this assault on sex, whilst pushing the trans as an oppressed minority furphy as a smokescreen against the true cause of the Rainbow Warriors, the destruction of sex as the fundamental and crucial basis for human existence and interaction. The case that could set back their cause is called Tickle and Giggle, and the woman who is the face of the case for sex is Sall Grover. This case should have the high public profile of the Chamberlain case and the serious consideration the media gave to the Mabo case. Its name lends itself to notoriety in public interest. Tickle and Giggle. Imagine the headlines. But our media have been largely silent, despite Sall and her legal team contacting many news outlets many times since this case was brought against her. The ABC, silent. The Project, silent. Mamma Mia, silent. The Sydney Morning Herald, silent. The Guardian, silent. To name but a few. But frankly, I don't expect any better of them. They're pushing the trans and gender agenda for all it's worth. By their silence on this case, it is clear they are one of the most powerful industries lobbying for the legal destruction of our foundational understanding of and the existence of sex. One woman and her legal team stand between sex-based reality and a binding legal fiction that would render our understanding of sex obsolete. Spread the word, because our rainbow media won't. Team Giggle, we can't lose.